we're going to talk about the next limiting belief, as we're wrapping up, is you must work hard for the money. Okay, we must work hard. Hard work. So, because it's not right to have it easy. It's not, you feel guilty to make money too easy. You feel guilty making money off your downlines. Or we all must work hard. But making money goes to, we're talking about, it's going to working smart, not working hard. Okay, we agree to that, right? The hardest workers out there, it's not their fault. They're just lack of ignorance, lack of education, or often are one of the poorest people. So it's not how hard you work, it's how smart you work. And maybe you have a belief that you must work hard for the money. The next one is rich people are unhappy. They're unhappy. They are, again, where do we get this from? Parents? Okay. What else? Media, right? You always read that we talk about, like the movie stars, athletes, their problems. But a lot of wealthy people are very healthy. Are very healthy, they're happy. But you don't hear about them. Because the media likes to portray negative stuff. So again, money is simply a multiplier. We mentioned this many times. Your happiness depends on your values and not on money. If you have the right values, then money shouldn't be the factor. So we're going to talk about language you use, things that you focus on, that wealthy people focus on. First one is all successful people focus on numbers. Okay, their mind is focused on the targets and goals, on the numbers. So what does it mean by numbers? In your business, as a distributor, there's a couple key numbers all of you should know. So for example, like your weekly income, right? I would hope you know your numbers, weekly income. What's your income compared to last year? You should have a spreadsheet. Some of you, I shared this yesterday. Spreadsheet compared. Like you have a simple spreadsheet where you show this year's income, this week's income. So, for example, this week ends on like April 4, right? 4/4. Is that right? 4/2. Today's 2, 3, 4. 4/6. 4/6. Just say you're earning 100. This is 2014. 2013, you earn 0. 4/13, you earn 200. Last year, you earned 100. So you have an improvement here, 100. You have improvement, 100. Maybe 4/20, you earned 100. Last year, you made 400. So you're down 300. You should know your numbers. It's very easy. The problem is, a lot of times you probably look at DLM management, you look at it, but you're not actually tracking it. Having the number in front of you is very different than just looking up and having it in your mind. Making it visible. Focus on it. You should have that number out. Okay, your maintenance volume. The amount of points you get every week that comes from your weekly maintenance. Not from new enrollments, just from the auto ships. The number of active distributors you have in your organization. On the 100-point auto ship, you should have that number. So how many people know how many active distributors you have? 100-point order. Okay? You should run that number. Okay? If you have a really big organization, maybe you just look at your week alike. But you should actually know, because even if you just say you've been in the business a long time, and you're here, you have a huge leg, right? There's probably 10,000 people here, and there's only 30 people here. It's good to say I have 13,000 people. 10,030 people, right? Mentally, it makes you feel better. So you should know those numbers. And you should know how to run that report. If you don't know how to run the report, anyone don't know how to run those reports? By the way, in the company website, okay, I'm talking about USANA, the company website, the thing that says on auto ship, off auto ship, that doesn't mean anything. You know that doesn't mean anything, right? So on auto ship, off auto ship just simply means whether they cancel the auto ship or not. Because if they didn't cancel, they'll still be caught, so they'll be still in the system, say on ordership. They may not have ordered for 5 years, but as long as they don't cancel, it's still on ordership. So that's not a good number. You really have to see the qualification date to find out whether they're qualified for commissions. You don't know that? Qualification date? Yeah, anyone don't know?
No, I didn't.
Okay, you're pretty new.
Yes.
You need to know, Janet. So qualification date, there's a good, just put Simon Chan DLM on Google. Simon Chan DLM has a 17-minute video that teaches you how to run the reports. Simon Chan DLM, okay? You just put in Google, it'll come up. Number for your top leaders. So you need to know each of these numbers. What's your weekly income for your top leaders? What are your, how many active distributors per leg? That's important. So, for example, if I have my 001, right, left leg, right leg. And this is how I like to keep track of it. So it's estimated $100 this week. 5 people active here, 7 people this week. Next week, just say it's 4, 6, then it's 4, 13. Well, you guys do it the other way, right? 13, 4. Then it would be like, just say I have 4 people, I have 200, and I have 9. And I keep track, okay? And I keep that spreadsheet for a year. If you don't want to do it, just hire someone else to do it. It's very cheap, $5, someone probably would do it. You could get your sons to do it. You run the report, okay? Put in a spreadsheet.
My son's $5 to do it.
$5 to do it? Yeah, I'll share a tip with you. I'll share a tip. How many of you sometimes, you know, exercising is important?
Yeah.
Right? How many of you have kids? It's a good number of you have kids. So, you know we have to exercise. Or you can do it with your nephew, something like that, right? So you want to exercise, but sometimes you're not motivated to exercise, right? So the best trainer is hire your kids. If you tell your kid, every time you get me to work out, but a lot of kids, they know about the latest gadgets, the exercise routine. I'll pay you $5 every time we work out for an hour. So the kids will say, Mom, Dad, where's my $5? When you come home from work, I actually learned this from my $20,000 mastermind. This guy's like, I'm so tired running 3 businesses, I'm tired. But every time I come home, my son's like, Dad, let's go work out. Let's go work out. Let's go work out. And of course, like a dad, you know, you talk about being healthy, we've got to exercise. You know, a private trainer tells you to work out, you skip it. But your son, you're supposed to tell your son you have to be healthy, eat healthy, work out. Your son's like, come on, Dad, let's go work out. So he actually goes work out. And he can't say no because his son won't show it. His son wants the $5. So Dad, come on, let's work out. So he works out like 5 days a week. But that's just how his son gets his allowance money. But it's good, it gets him in shape.
Simon, would you mind repeating that last thing that you
Oh, okay. So let me, I know I have bad handwriting. Let me make it neater here. So, you know, there's a book by Tom Peters, In Search of Excellence, a very famous business book in the 80s. Basically says, what doesn't get tracked does not get improved. If you want to improve something, you've got to track it. By the way, exercise, workouts, right? Your physical coach, even if you don't change, you know, if you don't eat better, you don't sleep better, don't take any supplements, just the fact that you track results will improve your performance. They've done that. Just by tracking results in the book or something, you can improve your performance, right? So tracking is important. So what I do is, like, for example, this is my 001 BC, right? You have a left leg and right leg. So I put like left leg, right leg, right? And then normally I put the dollar amount right here. And this is date. So for example, if today's this week ending, that's the right, you write the date, right? So then it goes 13/4/24. So this week, okay, like a spreadsheet. So maybe I earned $100. I had how many people active distributors? I have 5 distributors here, and I have 7. Okay, this week I earned 0. I had 5 and 7, no growth. This week I had maybe 6, and I earned 200. Maybe someone got a sign up. I had 8, and I'll track that. And I'll track that for my 002 as well. Okay, for my leaders who I'm newly developing, okay, I would also track the 001 for my key leaders. Like people like Caleb, I track the 001. When he first started out, I want to make sure he was earning consistently. And when he wasn't, every time he took a drop, I'll call him, motivate him. A lot of times what we realize is when people get discouraged, Here's a good rule for new distributors. If they're discouraged, you basically have 70, especially new people, you have 72 hours to rescue the person, really rescue, before you lose them for good. So meaning, if I'm really excited in the business, I talk to Myrna, and she says, no, Simon, you got ripped off. These things don't work. How do I feel? Instantly down, right? I feel so excited to do the business. She talks to me like this, I feel down. You basically have 72 hours to talk to me before you lose the person. Okay, so the next, by the way, she rejects me. Am I going to go motivate? Am I going to go call another prospect? No. Tomorrow, am I going to call another one? No. By 3 days, it's like developing a habit, right? You develop it. By third, fourth day, if you still haven't talked to motivate me, I'm probably never going to really do the business. The question.
So I had that situation where they're feeling down, and they're taking action, but they're not getting results. Now I'm going to remind them they're not getting paid on their time, they're getting paid on their results. But if you keep encouraging them, like they're taking action and they're not getting results, there's one of my team members, she's like, well, maybe we should encourage them because, you know, it's more of a mindset thing. Or if they're going through mindset issues, you just keep encouraging them.
So I will keep. So the question: do you keep encouraging with the mindset?
Yeah. So for example, so we've got this leader, and she's working, but she's not getting results. So she's feeling a little bit discouraged. She's like, I'm not going to come to training because I'm not getting results.
Well, then you have to work on it. Well, that's why she has to go to training. But there's two ways to look at it. I think everyone knows here. If you don't get results, why should I go to training? I'm not getting results. If you don't go to training, you'll never get results, right? So if you go to training, you have a chance to get results. There's always two ways to look at things. It's like remember we start off with perspective? Like, I'm not earning, why should I maintain? Right? Here's a good example. This is actually a good story about like Billy De La Fuente. He's like a star diamond. When he became gold, I helped him become gold. So, but it's related to that. Like, I'm not earning, why should I do auto order? Why should I do auto ship? Right? I have credit card debt. So if I stop my auto ship, then what happens? Do you think I'm still going to do the business? No, right? Most people, they quit. And I'm going to fail, right? Now, another way to look at it is, if I'm not earning any money, I keep going with my auto ship. I keep consuming all the products. They're piling up. Every month there's more and more boxes there, right? My wife gets angry, starts yelling at me, why are you buying all these products? Why are we getting a credit card debt? Why every month is $300 charge, $200 charge? Why you can't even consume them? We get started getting fights, right? Does that put more pressure? Maybe I'm not motivated to sell the products. Now, am I motivated to sell? Yeah, right? No, well, my wife will start nagging me. Get rid of these supplements. Get them out of the house. What am I going to do? I can do two things: throw them in the garbage or sell them. If I had no motivation to sell, all of a sudden, with my wife nagging me, do you think I want to sell? Yeah, because remember, we are the lizard brain. We are fight or flight. We have no motivation when things get bad. They're stressed. When creditors are calling your credit card, you get motivated to work, right? So if I work and try to learn to sell, you have a chance to become successful. You have a chance to become successful, right? Yes. So there's two ways to look at it. If you stop the auto ship, you're forever going to fail. You keep the auto ship, you have a chance to actually learn the skills. Okay, two different ways. The reason I brought up Billy was when he became gold, he actually needed to purchase some products to become gold, which is totally normal, okay? I mean, if he's short on 500 points, you're not going to like say, oh, I'll forget my gold run, right? If you do that for 4 straight weeks, it could be 2,000 points. It's a lot of money. So his wife was actually full-time. So what they did was, you know, they're all on credit card debt, right? So it's credit cards. You buy 2,000 points of volume. 500 points a week is not that much. You're not going to quit. You do 2,000. But they don't have much money, or they have a baby, and he's gold director, but then all these products are popping up. So basically his wife quit her job, because her job was only making like $200 a month, doing sales at a New World Hotel. And then what he did was, every day his wife had to go out, because his wife had a lot of contact lists. You know, she worked at the hotel, took all the clients, because she was the account manager so took all the contacts from the hotel, and every day she had to go out and had to sell, I think it was like 300 points quota, or else you wouldn't go home, something like that. Some 300, maybe 3,000 pesos, something like that. Every day you had to go out and sell. And then within like 40, 50 days, sold off all the products. But that was his order. You're going to quit your job. You're going to have it now. You quit your New World Hotel job. Your new job is going to be a vitamin salesman. And go sell all his products at 2,000 points because we need to get the money back. And that's what he did. And in 2 months, less than 2 months, she sold all of the products. And she was actually starting, she was like, Billy was so bad, so stressful. Every day he was like whipping me. I had to sell these products. But, it was like, $2,000 is a lot of money in the Philippines. So it just went through a contact list, called people, and she got off the products, sold off all the products. Okay, so it's about the mindset. So getting back to Amy's question, it's like you train on the mindset. But you have to keep motivating people and you find out how can people enjoy it. Maybe find out what they're doing incorrectly. Also show them the numbers, show them the share stories. Like you can use my 1 for 42 story. But when I was 1 for 42, it wasn't like the or bad. I mean, the first 10, 15 phone calls were really bad. But by the time I got to the 30s, I was very close to signing someone up. But I just couldn't close them. I was close. Did I tell you the story about how I signed up? Did I share how I signed up this person? The 40 number, 40.
Oh, the one where he didn't.
Yeah, the wallet, yeah. He didn't.
The deep wallet.
Yeah, not the big wallet. I forgot his expiration. Anyway, I forgot his expiration. That's what I call him again. Yeah. Good question, Claude.
Now, when you're monitoring people like this, your key leaders or key people you're mentoring personally, do you have access to their password so that next week you can go and see what check they got?
No, you do in DLM.
Or does it give you the check?
Yeah.
Usually income.
Yes. Unless it go direct or above, they can block it. You can check. Go to DLM, right? Personal volume. At the left-hand side, personal volume. You go to volume report.
But does it give you the dollar amount?
Yes. Well, they're a local currency. No, it gives you the US CVP, US. Okay, but you don't know how to do that? Do save queries?
Volume report, and then when you...
Yeah, DLM, when you go to DLM, there's something like, again, go to that Simon Chan DLM, because YouTube, so when you go to the left-hand side, log in there, I forgot what it's called, because it's like, it says volume report or something like that, business review. You open it up, and there's volume report, just click on the volume report. When it's default, it's your ID number. Just put the ID number of your downline, and you see it. And then you save the query, save the report, and then at the lower left hand, it's like save reports. Every time you just click on the report, it'll show you the person. Okay, go to again, DLM, Simon Chan DLM. It's a video. Okay? The retention, knowing, comparing. Like for example, you should have this year how much money I'm earning compared to last year, so you can see the trends. The important thing is when you have a spreadsheet, you can actually see trends, what's happening. If you just keep it on your mind, time goes by so fast. Sometimes we don't even realize what happened.
You can do that if you go back down through income earnings. You can put a date in, and you can get the date, like the check. You can have a look at what the check was at that.
Yeah.
You can use the spreadsheet totally.
But there's a magic, right? With numbers, one of the best advice I got was like, if you're doing business advice, if you're doing numbers, do it by hand or type it in. Because every time you do by hand, it goes in your brain. When you see it, it's just not as, there's something about typing the number or feeling the number. It's like getting, and we're going to talk about this, like the automatic deposits are actually dealing with cash, you actually feel the money. But I guess it's like a subconscious programming thing. And having this easy, I put on make it your desktop wallpaper, so you see it all the time. But successful people always have the numbers, look at the numbers. They're not thinking other things, they're focused on the numbers. So everyone of you should have a weekly goal, right? How many volume I'm going to get this week? What are your targets? Okay, so the sales oriented. Okay, every one of you should know, what does it take to get to the next check? You're always thinking about the numbers. This is not a hobby, it's a business. Do you have Wendy's here? The burger joint, Wendy's, fast food?
No, the ice cream.
You have ice cream, but not burgers, Wendy's burgers. In the US we have Wendy's burgers. Anyway, the guy, founder, is actually very popular, very friendly, gray hair guy, but he was very, very business oriented, cutthroat. Like when he first started Wendy's, they immediately put out, they actually had a party when they put out 2 fried chicken places out of business. He celebrated. Okay, but every time he went in there, he was like a very friendly guy. Within 1 minute, he would ask the franchise, what's the sales? How are we doing in the store? How come we can get better? And so you train other people to think about the numbers. Sales. How can we increase sales? Which is what you should be thinking. How can we get more volume going in your business? Because you're entrepreneurs, right? And what do you get paid on? Results. So you should be always focused on results. And results are volume. What type of check are you making? And if you're new, then what type of volume are you getting? You may not get a check yet, but what type of volume are you going to get this week? So the language we get, the programming beliefs, comes what we heard when we were young. Okay? When you were young, did you hear abundance or did you hear scarcity? Scarcity. Right? What are some things your parents told you?
Can't afford it.
Can't afford it, right? Or you're even in the restaurant, you order the cheapest thing on the menu. Right? You can't afford it. What else?
Got to work 3 shifts.
You got to work 3 shifts to pay the bills, right?
Save for that.
You have to save for that. We have to save for a long time for that, right? What else? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. What?
Go to school so that you can get a good job.
Go to school, get a good job. And if you go to a good job, you study hard, work hard, you get make money. Right?
You don't eat.
Huh?
You don't work, you don't eat.
You don't work, you don't eat. Right? Which in many ways is like the wealthy people, once they build assets, they don't need to work. And they still eat. Anything else?
Share with your 8 siblings.
Your mom's right next to you, huh? Share your what?
Share with your 8 siblings.
Share with your 8 siblings, right? But that's a unique one, right?
She's my daughter.
Yeah, I know. She's very brave to say that in front of you.
Should be told to get back.
Well,
No, it's good for them to learn to share, otherwise they're not human.
yeah. Okay.
About the rich, it's always the rich word, the evil.
Someone used this term too, the filthy rich.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, the filthy rich, right? I found myself using that word, the filthy rich. Because my friends use that word, the filthy rich. I can't believe the filthy rich to do that. But if the rich are really filthy, what does that tell me? Do I really want to be rich?
No. And
Right?
always give to the poor, like it was always.
Yeah. It goes back to being rich is, right? Being more rich is not good.
Yeah.
We're just talking about being rich has nothing, no indicator to the poor. Actually, the only way to help the rich is help the poor is being rich. So, what you heard influences you today, abundance or scarcity. Oh, here's one. I looked it up, right? Talk about programming. As if this is one of the top-selling license plates in the U.S. Sells very well. The license plate is, I owe, off to work I go. Okay? I owe, off to work I go. What type of think about the programming this person's going, right? Do you think this person actually has any pride in their work? The whole purpose of going to work is the wrong.
Folks are going to work, their bills.
Yeah, to pay bills. So there's no motivation. It's not to fulfill dreams, not to fulfill better. It's just to simply pay the bills. Wrong focus. So I actually looked at this, believe it or not. I didn't know. I owe, after work I go is very popular. They have a whole line of products behind I owe, after work I go. They have bumper stickers. They have T-shirts. They have keychains, hats. Imagine how about programming your brain, putting this up behind your hat, right? Mug, buttons. Think about it. The mug, the drink. They're looking at that stuff. The program is going in their mind, right? So again, where do you keep your bills? Where do you keep your bills? Yeah, in the fridge? In the folder? In the fridge? Okay, how many in the fridge? In the piano?
In the filing cabinet.
Filing cabinet? Who else? Or if you take your bills, huh? In the hamper. Throw them in the rubbish bin. Actually, put it in the filing cabinet where you file them, tickler file. You know what tickler file is? So like, for example, I have to pay them on April 15th. I have to file April 15th to put it in there. But keep them out of sight. Because it's bad program. It makes you think, oh, money out, money out. Hide them. Okay? But most people put in the fridge, which everyone sees them. It's programming. The kids see them. Money out, money out, money out. Right? There's all things that influences your mind. Put a note on the calendar when to pay them, hide them. Where do you keep money? The wallet, the bank. Leave them around. Here's one thing. When we do the business, do we need to feel good? Right? Because we get beat up a lot of difficult times. Put big bills in your wallet. Okay, that's one thing I did. I've done this help. I normally carry 5 $100 bills. Start carrying. By the way, you should carry money. Cash is, the bad thing about credit cards, it makes it too easy. Cash is good. It feels good to have cash. One of my mentors told me cash is good. Cash, what's this? Zimbabwe, $50 trillion. I'm a trillionaire. That's good programming, trillionaire. Cash is good. Cash, they said that cash, it looks nice. It matches any type of outfit. It matches well, blends in well. But I carry like 5 $100 bills. Why? Because if I see the $500 bills, do I feel good? It's like abundance, right? Even like I meet my team for dim sum. It's like, we pay $12 each. It's very cheap to eat in LA. $10, $12 for a meal, for lunch. And I take out $100. I don't have any smaller change. People say, oh, Simon, that's what you have, your big bills? Just by saying that, it makes me feel good, right? So carry big bills. Okay, big bills. Carry cash with you. Use cash more. Just the fact that you're doing physical transactions, right? Touching the cash is programming your mind. So keep money around. What's the price of petrol? $1.64. Anyone else know price of petrol?
$1.57. No.
Never look, just fill up.
Yeah, we need it. We're going
Fill up. Anyone else know?
153.
150. Okay. So it's better that you did not know the price of petrol. Right? Why do we need to know the price of petrol? Is it because if it's higher, you're not going to buy, you're not going to drive that week? Or if it's cheaper, you drive around the block, you just get more value? Right? Why does it matter if you're going to, why do you need to know the price of petrol? You don't. But does Oprah Winfrey worry about the price of petrol? Right? Does Bill Gates worry about the price of petrol? Does Dave Wentz worry about the price of petrol?
I'm on par with all of them.
Yeah. Huh?
I said, I'm on par with all of them.
Yeah. It's regardless of what the price is, you're going to buy it anyway. So the thing is, why clutter your mind? Don't clutter your mind. If you focus on small things, you get big, small things. Get small results. Price of petrol is a very small thing. The poor focus on that. Wealthy people, remember you got to be before you become. Right? You got to think like a wealthy person before you attract wealth. Wealthy people don't think about price of petrol.
Actually, Simon, it's very interesting how far one will drive to get that 3 cents or 4 cents.
Yeah.
So far. I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, your time cost, right? What's the only thing that can limit your income? Your time. They'll drive 20 minutes to save $5. They don't realize they spent $5 on petrol just to drive it 20 minutes in traffic, right? Not the time cost, too. The time cost. But which goes back to the hourly rate. Talk about hourly. How many of you out here know your hourly rate, what you're worth per hour?
For our job, for the job, or for the farm?
For this business.
It's not determined because I'm going to get paid in the future.
Okay? So here's something that's really helpful in terms of time management-wise, productivity. Everyone should know your hourly rate. So just think about, for example, what's a good income that you'd be happy with? If you're happy with like 5,000, just give an example. Would you be happy with, give you an example, $500,000 a year?
Yes.
Happy?
Yes.
$500,000 a year, right?
Yes.
You'd be happy, cool, $500,000 a year. So if you make $500,000 a year,
You achieve that, then maybe I'll readjust my goals.
yeah. So whatever your, but you got to be before you become, right? So just say you want to make $500,000. What's the hourly rate for someone who makes $500,000 a year if they work 40 hours? I'll save you the math, okay? The simple is, for every 100,000, it's $50 an hour.
So if you're earning 100,000,
You're making $50 an hour. Okay, working 40-hour weeks. 40-hour weeks. Okay, So for every 100K, it's $50 an hour. Okay, so exactly, good. So if you want to make $500,000, Claude, you are making $250 an hour. Okay, so if you want to make $500,000, you have to do $500,000 work. Yeah, because you're worth. Because you know you're good. You can sign up people and grow your business. Your time is valuable. So the test is. So going to get petrol, right? It takes 20 minutes to save the money. If you make $250 an hour, 20 minutes of time would be what? Divided by 3 would basically be like $80, right? Would you spend $80 to save $5 of petrol? Right? Also, like, someone asked me who does the housework for my house. I hire a maid to clean my house. It's not that expensive, like $100 every 2 weeks, right? $100, $110, I think this. I don't even know how much I pay her. $110. So they know my numbers because my wife pays her. 110, right? It's 110 I pay her. So 110 every 2 weeks. It takes her 6 hours to do it. If it cost me to do it 6 hours, it'll be $1,000, $500. Because I'm $250 an hour. Will I pay anyone $1,500 to clean my house? No. Now, if some people actually get relaxation and enjoyment of cleaning the house, I don't know why you would, but some people do, then go do it, right? They enjoy it. We do. Like, I enjoy exercising. That's part of the ways I enjoy life. But if you're doing something you don't enjoy, your time, you better outsource it. Use your time to build a business. But that was actually one of the major turning points for me. Even before I came up with $250 an hour, just say you work $50 an hour. Okay, $50 an hour. You drive 20 minutes to get gas. That's divided by 3. That's like $17, right? Would you spend $17 to save $5? So the hourly rate also makes sure you do things that make money. What are things that make money? Talking to people. There's 5 production activities. You got to build your list. You all know the 5 core production activities? Okay. Anyone don't know? Be honest. Anyone don't know the 5 core production activities? Okay. Don't know? So they're on my website. So 5 core production activities which will give you the hourly rate is number 1, marketing, right? Which is building your list. Building your list. Number 2, prospecting. Talking to new prospects. So marketing is getting a relationship with them. You may not present to them right away. You may spend time building a relationship. Prospecting is actually presenting to them. 3 is following up. Following up with old prospects. 4, self-development. And not just attending team trainings and stuff like that, which is good, but reading books, listen to audios. Number 5, communicate to your team. Communicating to your team is not like talking about chit-chat, how's the weather, it's about the numbers. When I talk about downlines, let me share 1 or 2 minutes, warm up the conversation, how you doing, how's it feeling, and right to the numbers. What are you doing this week? Do you have any prospects? Are we doing 3-way calls? Where are your customers? And if they're not having them, then why not? Okay? So there's got to be a reason why. So these are the 5 things you should all be doing. These are only 5 things that give you whatever your hourly rate is. Sorting your business card, tidying up your desk. There's not one of these 5 things. Now, they are helpful, but it doesn't give you money. So if you want to make $50 an hour income, this is the $50 an hour work. If you think you're worth $250 an hour, this is your $250 an hour work. And by the way, everyone should be able to do this. Okay? If you can't do it, it's bad time management. And bad time management, you have to ask yourself this. Like someone says, mowing the lawn. Now, if that's your way of exercising, enjoying, then okay, right? But I'm like the least handy person. I don't like to mow lawn, so I'll pay someone $20 a week to mow my lawn, and the person would do it much better than I can, instead of You know, if I mowed the lawn, it would take me probably 2 hours. It'd be $500 of my time. That would be a terrible job, right? So it's part of growing as a business is like things that you're not good at, you don't like to do, you outsource and you delegate. And you focus on ones that you're good at, and the ones that you should be doing. One of the things we plan to do is hire a chef soon, my wife and I. Just like pre-made meals, someone come. Actually, it's actually not that bad. It's only like $300 a week. Where some $300 a week is better than it's cheaper than eating out, healthier. They'll actually buy the groceries and they'll make food, and then you can make enough for a couple of days. But it's a time cost because I'm definitely not good at cooking. Right? I could cook to survive, but not to really eat. So that's your hourly rate. You got it? Okay. So don't focus on small things. Price of petrol, price of lettuce, bananas, and like. Yeah? The price of bananas expensive here? Yeah, they were. What? It's like Richard Branson talking about the price of bananas, right? So, again, focus on big things. Focus on big things. If you focus on small things, you get small results. Some people know the price of bananas in 3 different locations. Right? I know the price of lettuce. Go to this supermarket, it's cheaper. You go there. You go here for milk, but you go here for eggs. You know, I know my grandfather was like that. You know, my grandfather, they were like, they come from a different generation. So this is a good book. How many of you actually if you want to tap into Gen Y market, there's a good book that talks about, I think it's Gen Y Power, some book. And it's basically, if you want to tap into a certain market, you need to know how they grew up. Because then you know that you understand people much better. Like my grandfather's generation, like the war generation, Fred understands this probably, right? But he's in Switzerland. Switzerland's a nice place. But like, a lot of you probably understand from the war generation. It's like, you have peanut butter, you buy peanut butter, and you scrape, right? And once you finish, you scrape to every ounce, right? You know, parents like grandparents like that, every ounce. And after they're done, what do? They clean the jar and use it for a flower pot or something else, right? How many of you know people like that, right? You're probably your parents or grandparents like that. No. I'm talking about the ones not recycling. I'm talking about the ones that you keep the jar, right? Okay. Well, one second. I'm talking about they're using the hoarders, right? But they don't think a saving is using the jar for multiple purposes, right? They use it to put coins in, or flowers, whatever. They could use it for put rice in it, cashew snacks, right? Peanuts, cashew snacks, right? Reuse it. That's like you're describing my grandfather. Use it for other different things, right? Now the other generation, like who were born in like the boomers or the late Gen X, they basically just scrape, and then they'll throw it away. Or they recycle it and rinse it out, clean it, and recycle. But they're not going to keep it in the house, right? The new generation now, money. See, back then they have no money, but they had time. So they had time to clean. Now we don't have time. We have emails coming in, phone, everything. So right.
So now you buy peanut butter and store it in you don't even have it in the house.
Yeah. Or for example, use the peanut butter. A lot of people just scrape when it's almost done. You just throw it away. Or you rinse it and recycle it. Right? You recycle the thing. But that goes about the different generations, how they're brought up and raised. So focusing on big things, okay, not the small little things. So why clutter your mind? Because all those things like price of petrol, do they take up mental power? Right? It takes up energy. It takes some part of your brain. And your brain is like, I was sharing yesterday, like at least, people won't have diseases because the brain's always on. There's so much stuff to think about. Right? Your mind should be focused on what? Profit. Maximize profits. Your numbers. How am I going to get the sale? What type of sale am I going to get? How am I going to get my next sign up? Should be focused on positive. By the way, focusing on the price of petrol, normally if you focus on price of bananas or petrol, is it a positive or a negative? It's mostly complaining about the price of it, right? You're focusing in the wrong direction. You're focusing on the negative, not the positive. Now, if you're actually looking by how can I profit from the increasing rate of petrol, then that's a different story, right? You should actually be thinking solutions. And the price of petrol is increasing. How can I actually make money from it? So everything is programming. Okay, everything is programming. So there's two types of programming that we talked about: poverty or wealth. Poverty or wealth. So here's actually a kind of disturbing story here. So a couple of years ago, I'll take this off the screen. A couple of years ago, in Ohio, there was a prominent judge. Now, this is a little disturbing. There's a prominent judge who was had to handle big cases, was in the news, very, had a family, happy family. Out of nowhere, surprisingly, he got caught for molesting a girl. He got arrested and went to jail. Total sicko. So after he went to jail, and it was like a long sentence, they actually did an interview with him saying, how does someone with such professional, you have a great career, you're well-known, family, why would you do something so stupid, right? And he shared that a couple of years ago, he was watering his lawn, he saw a girl, this young girl, skirt, and for a split second, just a split second, he thought about it. And that's it. And then a couple of months later, he thought, he's different situation, different place, saw a different girl, and thought about it for a couple more seconds. And then a couple of months later, he'll think about more. And then right before he got arrested, he got caught in the act, he said that's all he thought about. Right? That is how our brain works. The same thing that gets a judge in trouble is the way we buy things. Think about you have an iPad. How many of you have a smartphone, right? You probably just a smartphone. You thought about it. You never split second. A couple of days later, weeks later, you think about it more. Then the day or two before you buy it, that's all you're thinking about. It's not how we buy a smartphone, how we buy an iPad, how we buy a computer or a TV, buy a car. That's all you think about. But it all comes in with a single thought. It starts out as how we get programmed. And that's why we have to be really careful. The people you spend time with, people you talk to, the things we watch. That's what people, sometimes they say the video games, violent video games, they don't impact children because it's fantasy. That's totally not. It's totally bad programming, right? It basically encourages violence. So you have to be careful of the thoughts, what we're exposed to, because that's how everything works. That's how we buy a car. Think about your car. You thought about it for a split second, next thing you start thinking more about it. It's how you become a distributor, how you're here today. Maybe you thought thinking about the business a little bit, and now, if you're here today, probably your business is probably what you think about 90% of the time, right? How many of you actually think about your business a lot, right? But it all starts with a tiny thought, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So the good thing is, just like there's negative, there's positive. Just like how that's all you do, think about the business. The process is the same. But the key to actually attracting wealth is to be able to speed up the process. Do you know what I mean by speeding up the process? Just like the judge from that single thought to getting caught, but it's positive. Like when you first start thinking about this business, and all of a sudden, it used to be think about a little bit. Now this is all you think about. How many of you actually in your business? This is all you think about, right? All you think about how I grow my business, how I grow my business, right? Imagine you can get that. Speed up the process a lot quicker. So you have an idea, right? An idea like, oh, I'm going to go and tap into this market. You may just briefly think about it. But all of a sudden, I want to go to the China market. You think about it. Then sooner or later, that's all you think about. If you can speed up that process from the initial thought to doing it, you attract money a lot quicker. And that's what marketers do, by the way. Like you see a commercial. That's why they keep showing commercials. Every time you see a commercial, it goes to programming. So initially, you just saw the iPad. You don't care. But you keep seeing it, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Right? Instead of taking 1 year to buy it, you see it so many times, you want to buy it the next day, or next week. Right? So speeding up the process to attract wealth. Okay, so we're going to wrap up here. A couple other things is this nonsense about passion. Have you ever heard about you just follow your passion, you get rich? Just do your passion, right? What passions do you guys have? What are some passions you have?
Travel?
Travel? Has anyone paid you for traveling? Never, right? My passion is I like to play Legos with my son. No one that you say they'll pay money to watch me do that, right? I like to exercise. No one pays me money to watch it. So that's a lot of BS, okay? Total BS. A lot of people who say this type of stuff don't make any money. Or they pretend they make money. Or actually they do make money selling a lot of books that talk about this stuff. Because this is a feel-good message. It feels good. Oh, I pursue my passion, make a lot of money. So actually, what does make money is you create things that attract people, right? Your communication skills, your marketing, being a giver, law of abundance, giving. When I talk about branding, marketing, Meredith, you had asked about social media. People buy how you change. How you change. So maybe you change physically, or you change up here. When you post those type of things, people notice it. They'll be curious of what you're doing.
What do you say? People buy how you?
People buy how you change. So, meaning that if you have a better attitude, your friends will notice. Oh, why you change your attitude? Right? How you different? You used to be so negative, complaining. Now you're actually very open, sharing. What happened? Okay, you used to be very cheap with your money. Now you're very generous. What happened? You used to be unhealthy habits. Now you change, you're healthy. People start noticing that. And they'll approach you, hey, why did you change? Then they'll be open to learning about the business. Learning about the products. Well, I mean, very simple, like if you need to lose weight, you lose some weight. Physically, you can change. Be healthy, you have more energy. People notice it. And they'll be asking, what happened? Then they're great prospects. They're asking you to tell them, right? They're good prospects already. So how do we keep score in business? How do we keep score?
Money.
Income, money. By looking at how much money you make, right? Like, you need to follow money because it's just like sports. If there's no score in sports, would people watch? Right? If there's only like the Oscars, right, the movies. If there was just nominations but no winner, would people watch? Right? No one watch. So in business, money's not everything, but that's how we keep score. Okay, we keep score like that. Here's some wealth habits. You can go home. Immediately apply. Immediately do this. The first thing is you open 2 bank accounts. This thing has really helped me out. 2 bank accounts, because it's all programming, right? Do we agree a lot of it's all programming? Now, we went through 10 limiting beliefs. How many of you actually had more than 3 limiting beliefs? Right? Maybe 5 of them. We went through like 10 limiting beliefs before. How many actually had at least 3, right? So you're not going to change them overnight. The purpose is to make you aware of them. And then slowly be conscious. Like, for example, before during lunch break, we were talking about websites, talking about issues of websites. I mean, again, we're on the wrong focus. We're focusing on problems. We should be focused on solutions. Right? So it's to be aware. By the way, there's 4 types of learning. 4 types of learning. The first type of learning is unconscious incompetence. Unconscious incompetence. Unconscious incompetence, okay? Unconscious. Now, you don't know what you don't know. Like my 6-year-old son, he doesn't even know that he doesn't know how to tie shoelaces. I'm sorry, my bad hair. Unconscious, I don't know if I can spell either. I can't write and can't spell. Unconscious incompetence. Okay? Incompetence is incompetence. Okay? Unconscious incompetence. Yeah. All right, you know what I mean. Okay. Go look it up on Google. Second level is conscious incompetence. Meaning that you know that you don't know. Right? So like my son, Ethan, he's almost 3 now. He knows that he needs to tie shoelaces, but he knows he doesn't know how to tie them. He wants me to tie them for him. third level is conscious competence. Okay, conscious competence is making an effort. Maybe a 6-year-old kid, they have to tie shoes, they have to think about it, and they can tie. And then the last level was this is what you know, you master it, is unconscious. Sorry, I spelled wrong. Unconscious competence. Meaning you don't need to think about it, you can tie your shoes. Every one of us, you can be talking to me right now and tie your shoes without thinking about it. Right? Unconscious competence. And it's like prospecting. How many of you actually knew yesterday that you control conversation by asking questions? Did you know that before? Some of you, right? How many of you didn't know? Right? For those who didn't know, you were unconscious incompetence. Now do you know? But are you good at it? You probably have to. You can still do it. You have to think about it. Maybe you have to write notes, write it down. So you're conscious incompetence, right? Actually, right now you actually know you don't know. Yesterday you didn't know what you didn't know. Then last night you knew you didn't know. Now if you go do it, you probably think about it, but you can ask questions when you talk in the conversation. And then the last level is unconscious competence, where you do it naturally. It just comes natural. All right, so those are 4 levels of learning. So how do we talk about this? We were talking about bank accounts, right? Bank accounts. So something that's really helpful is, number 1, you open 2 bank accounts. And this is really helping me out a lot. One is a wealth account, one's a giving account. Okay? So the wealth account is a percentage, and if you're not comfortable, just start with 1% of your weekly income before expenses. It's like gross, before expenses. Why do we do it before expenses? Because if you do it after expenses, there's no money left. Okay, it defeats the whole purpose. So do it before. So do it before. You put whatever. If you're not comfortable doing 10%, you should do 1%. Deposit in the account right away. Okay, every week. Better if you don't do the same branch. Why? Because the same branch you can do online transfer. It's very easy when you online transfer in, and then what happens? Well, you didn't mean the money transfer out. Right? So choose a different branch, which is more difficult to transfer money in and out. The giving account is, again, it's the same percentage where you put in there and you give. That money's for giving. You can donate whatever charity you want, but it's for a giving account. Now, I personally don't, here's just my person. I don't normally donate to official charities. A lot of charities, like 70% is overhead. I don't know if any of you know that. Yeah. So actually very little money actually goes to charity. But if you don't believe in anything, I give to my church. But if you're not sure what to give to people who out there who work hard. The next time someone at a restaurant, I know you don't tip in Australia, but if someone serves you well, give them some money. Those people, like up there, they work hard, right? A lot of times very friendly, but because of whatever circumstances, they're stuck where they are. They could be your prospects, but a lot of times they don't make much money. So give them some money. Give it to them. By the way, when you give some money to people, they're happy. Does it make you feel good? Is it good for your programming? Right? Give. The more you give, the more people are happy. It makes you feel good.
A lot of us give through the Asana Foundation straight out of our auto sheet, so that would be pretty much the same thing. You know,
yes. Yes. There's one advantage to doing this better. It's because you physically go to the bank and deposit money. Now, when you deposit money, is that a good feeling? Like the bills on the refrigerator, doesn't it make you feel good? No. Right? Bad program. But when you go to the bank and make deposits, it's the mental programming, giving, deposits. The actual thing of writing, and those is kind of troublesome, but you do a few times, you enjoy it. You're writing deposit, writing, and giving to the teller, deposit money. Okay? You're building a wealth mindset, abundance mindset. Or successful people are givers. So that's why like the automatic deduction is good, but it's the actual physical act of doing it that's programming your mind.
What do you mean by go to the bank and put in the money?
So I got to deposit money to the bank account. So what it is
You have to spend more time to go to the local and extra day.
Yes, because it's programming your mind. Actually, so I have a bank. So I have a bank that I take money, but you find out the different time of the day or week that's easy, right? You take money from your main account, you take it in cash. It's good. Is it good to feel cash? Yes, if you cash, you go to the other bank and you make deposits. But
Mine's at the next door.
They could be right next door, right? But it could be next door, whatever's convenient, but don't make it online because online makes it too easy. When it's too easy, sometimes we don't do it. And also, like, when it's easy, it's very easy. When you need money for something else, instead of trying to train your brain to be creative or come up with money, what do we do? What does our lizard brain do? So, for example, we need money right now. I'm short $100, right? Instead of being creative, try to get another customer, sell some products, what do? We go back and transfer it. So we have to protect ourselves from our lizard brain.
It's good to do that with your kids, actually.
Huh?
It's good to do that with your kids too, because I never see that physical of taking money in, or so their concept of money and everything is totally different.
Yeah, that's why, like, the kids, they teach you, like, to have a piggy bank. Teach your kids every day, save. You have a giving account. You could put, for every dollar. It is in the book, The Richest Man in Babylon. 10%. You put it in the savings, 10% for investments, 10% for giving.
It's money boxes that come.
Yeah, money boxes. You deposit. You teach your kids to deposit.
So you actually suggest that let's say you put 10% for your wealth, then you put 10% for your giving as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
And then
The wealth you never touch. This you never touch.
Deposit into the wealth account as well. Physically.
Yes, physically. It's the physical program in your mind to give deposits, touching money and giving. You're programming your mind for money. The question, Deborah.
So we don't touch the wealth one,
Yeah.
and the giving one we put in to take out.
Take out to give to your church, charity, whatever you want.
Okay, so that wealth is something that we just...
For the future.
our children.
Because another 9 years later, her mom got scared. You nervous? She's like, I don't know about that.
She introduced me to Rich Tan, so...
Rich Tan's in my downline. So the truth comes out. Rich Tan is single, I think. Well, if you're with Rich Tan, you don't need to save money. I'm just kidding.
No, just teasing her, that's all.
Yeah. No.
They have their own eyes.
You don't touch it. Because there's a magic thing was one of the miracles of the world called compound interest.
Yeah.
Right? Compound. This is like this 8th wonder of the world. And it just piles up. Now giving, so we understand the giving part is like, all successful people give money away. They're very loose with their money. They're very generous in giving. Giving.
But what if you share an account with your husband? My husband and I, we both just have a one account. We don't have your account and my account. So
I'm not a marriage counselor.
What I'm saying is this is you're trying to sort of, well, you are teaching us to try and...
No trying, but do it. But how about create your own account? Can you create your own account? For example, your husband lets you take money from the...
My husband and I, we have a certain understanding so as to keep the marriage happy.
Yeah.
So one of the things is we share the account, of course. So now we follow your...
Could you, okay, for example, does your husband let you take money out of account to buy your own things?
Or anything.
Yeah, anything, right?
No problem.
No problem, okay. So we're not talking take the whole money, all the money out from the account, right? It's something, so for example, if you needed to go shopping and buy something, if you need to go shopping for something and take $50 out, your husband's no problem.
No problem.
So maybe...
I'm here, I paid $100.
Right. So you take, for example, if you took $50, I'm just using a very low number, $50 out, you can take $5, 40, says you need to buy groceries, take $50 out, put $5 in your wealth account, $5 in your giving account, and spend the $40 on buying groceries.
But we are already like what Anne said, we are already giving to the Sana, and we are already giving to our church and whatever else.
Oh, so if you're giving to your church, then okay, then the giving account, okay, you have that. But the account thing is, it's money. It's not for the practical. It's for the programming. You understand the program? Program your mind that with money as well as abundance. I can give. Right? I'm generous, I can give.
Yes.
By the way, if you want the opposite of giving the money, scarce, try taking I didn't do it here, but try taking like a $10 bill and burn it. If you do with people with no money, they get very, very upset, very nervous. Take a $50 and burn it in front of their eyes. Is it illegal to burn money? Or how about if I rip up the money? You can't straight leave with that. Really? Oh, in the U.S., I don't know if it's legal or not. People do it. Okay?
You can't do it anyway because it's plastic.
I can cut it up. They get very tricky. They cut it up, shred it. But if you ever do something like that in front of someone, flush it down the toilet. Right? People with like a lot of limited. You know, if you actually try flushing down the toilet, people. By the way, if it's indestructible, people who live in the sewers get the money, right? But people, that's a way of giving. I'm just kidding. No, seriously, if you actually want to see people who have like a scarcity mindset, if you actually do that, they will get very, very agitated. Very agitated. They'll be very bothered. Even if it's not their money, they'll be bothered by it. But money is just paper. Really, it's replaceable. So giving money away, giving. All the success, you know, people are wealthy, they give money, they're generous. How many of you actually know friends who are like cheapskates? Really cheap, right? Do people like to be with them? No. Cheapskates. Are they wealthy? Cheapskates.
My friends are.
Cheapskates.
And cheapskates and they're wealthy and his parents are wealthy and I don't get it.
Okay. Most cheapskates are not wealthy. Or maybe they have some money saved in the bank, but they're definitely not the multi-millionaires. Because if you're cheapskates, because you know to be successful, you have to depend on relationships. Like, no one wants to spend time with a cheapskate. And for most cheapskates out there, the more they're being cheap, actually works against them. The less money goes. If you look at the wealthy people, the top, just look at the top 10 wealthiest people. Gates, Buffett, whatever, they're the biggest givers. They're the biggest, wealthiest people are also the biggest givers. Okay, they give. So like I said, giving away your money, it's like if you see, now what I do is like, before I learned this, if I go to a restaurant, people that have service, I give 15%. That's typical 50% tip. Now, after I realize how hard they work, if they give service, it makes it, 15% is like an odd number too. It's just like, I give 33% tip. 1/3. But they're really happy. I mean, there's a difference between, like the other day I was in Atlanta, instead of giving a $4, $3 tip, I gave a $9 tip. It's only $6 more, but that person was so happy. And she was like, thanking me. And then actually, how does it make me feel? It makes me feel good, right? It was only $6 more, but it could totally change someone's life. And to her, it made her day. She can buy like lunch for free. So, give people. Most people give for the wrong reasons. Okay, most people give for the wrong reasons. They give because of obligation. And this is like obligation meaning they feel about guilt or compelled to give. Meaning, sometimes in the church too. In the church, they pass the offering and you feel guilty. I should give. You look at the person next to you. If he doesn't give, then you don't give, right? Because guilt. That's not the wrong. That's the wrong way to give. You should be giving because you want to give. Because what goes out there comes around, not because you feel they should give. A lot of fundraisers too. They make you give out of pressure and guilt, right? They put you, which is the wrong reason to give. Okay, so a couple more things. You must have goals and targets. Because if you don't have goals and targets, we're a lizard brain. We don't do anything. Every one of you should have a weekly goal on top of income you're going to hit. What type of income? If you don't have enough volumes yet, then what type of volume goal you're going to hit? Train your downlines to have a weekly goal. If you can't get volumes, give them a target. How many people you can bring to the guest? How many guests you can bring to a presentation? But you got to give them a target. You have to be open to things that develop. Okay, but you have to be open to things that develop course, right? Change course, which is what I talked about before. Is you may start off thinking you may do something, like do this. As for example, I started out thinking I went to convention. First convention, I thought I was going to grow Went to China, Taiwan, Hong Kong, right? It actually went there. It didn't work out that way. I ended up growing the business out in Malaysia, Philippines, and Singapore. Same thing. Actually, most of you think about it. The success you've had, is it the way you planned it out? Very rarely. It's very rarely with the people you thought it was going to make it happen either. Very rarely. That's the way. That's where you have to keep going. So you got to be open. Even if you have your goals, you got to be open that things could change. I never thought I'd be in Australia. I thought even if I do coaching training, it'd be mostly people from the U.S., L.A. I never expected to be in Brisbane. It's just things happen. As long as you work hard, you're open to opportunities, things open up for you. You have to make a decision. You refuse to trade time for money, right? Because we get paid on what? What do we get paid on? Results. Not by how hard you work, not by how much time you put in, but by results. If you refuse to trade time for money, it motivates you to build this business. Talk about employee, entrepreneur, right? Employee works for time, entrepreneur has money work for them. Time management. We touched on some productivity tools. We talked about how to have more energy, go to bed hungry. But if you can't control your time, you can't control your money. Because money is time. Time is money. Time is the most valuable thing. Money is time, time is money. Time is the most valuable thing because it's limited. Money, if you lose it, big deal. You can get it back. If you lose your health, you can't get it back. If you lose time, you can never get it back. I talked about, actually this week's blog is coming out. I talked about one of the biggest waste of time is working with the wrong people, working in wrong relationships. If you're working with people in the wrong, if you're in a bad, marriage relationship, I'm not a marriage counselor, but if you're in a bad relationship, it's one of the biggest wastes of times. Okay? If you are working with the wrong people, it's the biggest waste of time. One good way to find out whether you're wasting time or not, in my blog I wrote about the people filter. A couple of things I look for, right? Are they positive or are they negative? Do they focus on problems or solutions? Right. Number two is, do they have a law of abundance or scarcity? The law of abundance, they're givers. They give. I don't have to worry about them stealing my downlines because they have plenty of people. Are they focused on problems or solutions? It's coming on my blog. Will probably come out Friday, Thursday, Friday. Law of abundance or scarcity? Third is, do they have integrity? Okay, so you'll read my blog for the rest of them. There's like 5 things I put in there. For some reason I can't think of integrity, problems, and by the way, if you don't like the people you're with, then you can't change people, you change yourself, right? If you don't like the people you're with, just leave. You don't have anyone else to hang out with, and sponsor some new people, start a new group. Right? It's simple. So it's like, oh, I don't like these people, they're no good. Start your own group, start your own club.
It's coming from family. You can't just leave your family. Your parents are sometimes, they can be, oh, what are you doing that for? I haven't told my dad yet because I just know I'm going to be swamped. And, what do you do in that sense?
So, I explained to him.
It's the way he was brought up and him, and I love him for it. But
I think, you know what, I love you, Dad, but like this is, I don't need you to join. I don't need you to believe it. But just, here's one thing, right? This actually happened to one of my leaders. First you tell him you love him. You don't want him to join. He doesn't need to be buy the products. But just do one favor and don't be negative about a business in front of you. So you don't need to join the thing, but can you do me a favor just to mentally help me? Because he loves you too. Can you just don't say anything negative, because that will screw me up mentally. Just one. Don't say in front of me. Just keep your opinions to yourself, but in front of me, just support me. Smile about it. But I need your support. Okay? But you don't need to join. I'm not going to tell you. You may not even agree with it. But in front of me, just don't say anything bad. Okay? Yes. Hey, Julie.
You asked us to remind you on working with downlines.
Okay, yes, we'll get to that after the break. Good. And about convention too, right? There's a lot of other stories too. I'll share one other thing. Do you know about 9 Angry Birds? Angry Birds? I'll show you about Angry Birds. Okay? So you can't control your time. You can't control your money. Like email we talked about. Email is just email. Right? It's a message. You don't need to check it right away. The quicker you reply back to a prospect, it actually weakens your posture. Right? Because you should have tons of people to talk to.
I thought it shows that you're interested in that you're efficient.
I know, but that's not, because people are like, why? Hell, you don't have other people to talk to? You have 9 kids? They're not more important than me? People, again, you do the opposite of what other people do. Most people, when they email right back. Right? So intentionally, you take longer to email back. By the way, even if you have downlines, if you message right back, it's very, very bad. Amy can share this with you, because you start emailing back. If you have 3 downlines, 5 downlines, 10 downlines, you can do that. When your team is big and you physically cannot have the time to message people back, then you're going to say, what happened to you? You're not supporting me anymore. Because in the past, you messaged me right back. Now you don't. It's not that you don't care about it, you just don't have time. Right? If you have 5 downlines, you can message people right back and they need help. If you have 50 people all of a sudden, you can't do that. So you're setting the wrong expectation, wrong precedent. So start from the beginning that, hey, give me like, if you need to, it's like, for example, I have a rule, like if you have a prospect for a 3-way, I'll stop what I do to help you. Give me like 1 or 2 advance notice, I can do it. Normally I don't do any phone calls before 1 p.m. because that's my concentration time. I need to do writing and things like that. Text, I'll do my best to reply back, but you can never call me on the phone. If you do a phone call, we set a phone call. That's actually much better, because sometimes you call people, they're not available, and they call you back, you're busy, it's just a waste of time. So you set the phone time. But if you're very nice, I know you're very caring, but sooner or later, you're not going to be able to talk to 50 people, say, hell on, I need this, you drive you crazy. So you might as well now, you know what I'm talking about? They always keep asking you questions, right? So they're expecting you to help them with everything. It's not a good sign. You teach people to be independent too, independent. It's very simple, like inside a circle, we have like a time zone, like we talk about, when I post the time, it's on US Eastern Standard Time. So people ask me like, what time is it in Brisbane? What time is it in Kuala Lumpur? What time is it in Singapore time? It's like asking me like I'm a local time zone converter. I know all this stuff, right? I don't. So what would I do? I go to Google and search. There's a website, time and date. So that's, again, employee mentality, right? Employees are told that boss will tell them what to do. Entrepreneurs, we figure out solutions themselves. See, that's problem, focus on solution. If you focus on the problem, it's like, I don't know what time is this. I gotta ask Simon, I gotta ask my boss. Entrepreneur solutions, like, I don't know, let me go find the answer. And now you have Google, it's so easy. Just Google time zone converter, and something comes up. Something simple like that tells you about the mindset of your downlines. So all news, the last thing is all news is good news. Everything that happens, aside from a couple of things like terminal illness, maybe cancer, everything is good news. Okay? 90% of stuff is out there. All good is good news. All news is good news.
You said you would share with us a little bit more about your Robert Allen experience, because that would have been bad news.
Yeah, okay, good. Okay.
So how that become good news?
Good. So all news, I'll share that. All news is good news, meaning whatever happens, think about anything you're proud that you've accomplished in life, right? You're happy, grateful about. It all is a result of something that was bad that happened, or challenging time. But you overcame it, and now it's led to something better. You all agree? Can you think of something? Right? So, unless you adopt this, like all news is good news, it's very hard to get momentum and do well in the business. Because you see every negative thing as like, oh, it's the end of the world. What happened? Why is it bad? You're focusing on problems. And you stop. So for example, I talk to a prospect. I get rejected. Oh, I can't believe it. I'm not good at it. It's like, not good. You stop. So you never get momentum. So if this person's not interested, good. And another way to look at it is like every no makes me closer to a yes. So he's not interested, I'm happy, great. So I'm closer to yes. Next person. It's like what I did yesterday, practicing the cold call. Hi, this is Simon. By the 5th, 6th, 7th time, I know everyone says no, I'm very close to a yes. Right? There was I'll give you an example. There's a guy called James McDermott who owns a financial security firm in New York. And crazy stuff happens in the finance world where he got indicted for insider trading, supposedly passing stock tips to a stripper. Okay, and I guess the stripper passed it to someone else in the strip club. So he got indicted, he was going to go to jail for like 10 years. Okay, so that day he basically lost his firm. He was like a multi-millionaire, lost his firm, lost all his connections, going to jail for 10 years. But the day he was in jail, also happened to be 60 of his employees in his firm worked at the World Trade Center. And on the 60th floor when 9/11 happened. Okay? And unfortunately, the only person that survived in the entire firm was him because he was in jail. Okay? So jail was not good, but compared to what I was co-colleagues, that was not that bad that day. Okay? The feeling is all news is good news. Something happens for a reason. So like with the Robert Allen, we were doing a lot of online marketing, relying on one thing. So one of the key things about marketing is if you want to generate leads online, it's good to have like what we call a funded proposal. This comes actually from Mike Dillon, actually, which is like he takes a lot of credit for it, but something that's been going for 70, 80 years, where you have something on your website that sells. So for example, I have a training course there, it used to be $7, I think it's $17 now, where even if prospects don't sign up in the business, they may purchase my product. So that helps offset the marketing cost. But I didn't know any of this type of stuff, okay? I didn't know any of this stuff. So I was just doing pay-per-click with Robert Allen, marketing, doing that. When Robert Allen went for another company, left me out in the code, which by the way, I totally don't blame him for that, because he got a really good deal in the other company. It's a business, he had to do what he did, right? I mean, I was actually disappointed, but it was a good learning lesson. That made Scott and I realize, hey, our marketing cannot rely. So you know what the biggest thing why I really appreciate that? First of all, I've been to his house, she taught me a lot of things. Not just the stuff he did, but the stuff he didn't do. Mistakes he made, I learned a lot. But the biggest thing about Robert Allen was I used his name, because we're in the Robert Allen team, to grow the business. Afterwards, I realized, hey, I don't need Robert Allen. I don't need Robert Allen leads. I'm going to have to be Simon Chan. I'm getting my own Simon Chan leads. I don't need Robert Allen leads. I'm going to be Simon Chan. So that was the whole thing, because I couldn't rely on Robert Allen anymore. I was like, how am I going to get leads online? Instead of using a Robert Allen website, I started my own website. That was like the best thing that happened. So it turned out something bad. And I worked with Scott on this. Scott gave me ideas. I was even open to doing other things and stuff like that for training. I used to have a limiting belief that people shouldn't. This was a limiting belief. Okay, I used to felt that you shouldn't make money off downlines by selling or recommending training and stuff like that, right? I don't know, whatever that belief came from, maybe the Amway or whatever, was a limiting belief because I felt that you should only make money by promoting the business, like you saw, promoting the business like that. But then someone brought it up, like if I had like, for example, I recommend the Apple computers all the time. By the way, when I have my first two gold directors, I bought the MacBooks. Okay, that's just showing appreciation, leadership, showing appreciation for the leaders. I'm not telling you need to do that. I surprised them with new computers, laptops. They're very, very grateful. And also, it's a selfish thing too. Like they were using Windows and not crashing. Okay, not because I was an Apple fanboy. Okay, but Windows computers crashes and they can't work. And I was tired of like, oh, I can't prospect because my computer's down. So great, I'm going to buy you a new computer. Now the Apple's never crashed. You can work more. Okay, now. So I bought them two MacBooks. They're very grateful. But you know, if I had a good Apple, I'd recommend. But if I have a good training product that helps them, how come I would have recommended? How come I only had to go to the company training? So that was a big mindset for me. It's like, and then I realized how this coaching thing, why I enjoy doing it, because you get what you pay for, right? It is a good example was 2-3 years ago, I had someone from one of my Malaysian leaders come in to stay with me for 10 days. So 10 days, he really, I mean, he didn't earn that much money. Flights are expensive from Malaysia. He had to get the visa. It's not easy for Malaysians to get visas to the US with the terrorism. You know, come all the way to the US. So you come to the US, we did all those things, and I taught him a little bit. For 10 days, went to the beach and stuff like that. Then I realized I actually have a platinum thing in my coaching, which I don't like to do anymore. I haven't done it in a long time, where people can pay me $5,000 to spend 5 days with me for 8 hours a day. Just watching me, asking me whatever, and they fly to LA. They pay for their own expenses, but $5,000 for 5 straight days with me. When this guy Kevin did this, I was like so stressed. The night before, I was up all night preparing, right? Preparing, I'll pick him up early at 8:30. We start exactly at 9 o'clock. We worked the entire 8 days. We actually ended at 5:30, 6 o'clock. I was like, every day, like I couldn't go to sleep, I'll prepare the next day. I was like, wow. Like when my Malaysian guy came, I was like, whatever, we'll wake him up, we'll come in today, let's come in at 11, come over. There's no urgency, right? But because this guy was paying me money, I always had the guilt. Like, I got to put a good performance here. I got to prepare. It's just like I came here, I was preparing one of the presentations. It's like, you guys are paying like $125 to be here. I got to deliver good content. But you guys have got good content, right? So that was a limiting belief. It was like, if you have something good, why not make money? Actually, by paying money, I'm not taking advantage of it. It actually makes me work harder for it, right? Also, like when people pay, do they treat it more seriously? Yeah. I mean, my Insider Circle webinars are very similar in many ways for some stuff I used to do for my team. The only difference is people show up. They show up on time. When I did my own team, Simon, I gotta take the dog out, dinner's late, I gotta take the kids, I have soccer practice, all I have excuses, okay? Sometimes you don't even show up. I start listening to the recordings. Oh, I don't have time, it's downloading, it's too hard, I don't know how to transfer to my iPhone, all these type of things, okay? iTunes is too hard to work, but when they pay, they always show up. So at the end of the day, I do better, I have to perform better, I just can't wing it, right? Seriously, if I was just coming for health and freedom, I would have done my presentation. I just do the normal slides and just sort of whatever. I wouldn't put so much time into it. So you get what we pay for. That was actually a big mindset thing. There's a lot of opportunities. And I learned from Robert Allen. It's really learning about marketing. So by having no Robert Allen, I couldn't market with Robert Allen. I had to market something, so I started doing my own website. And that one thing, again, it never ends up what you think it was. One thing led to another. Like I thought my coaching training was just going to be American market. Never expected it to be Australia. Never. It was the last thing I expected. But providing value always, that's like the secret. Just giving. Did I share about the convention? I spoke on Crossline calls. Did I share that yesterday? When I used to speak on training calls? For my teleconference calls? Okay. So, this is like my last day, right? I forgot. I've been on so many trainings, I kind of forgot. So when I first started the business, my first, I didn't say share this. I'm just basically losing my mind. So first time I did a training, I spoke for like a 30-minute teleconference, and I spoke for 30 minutes. I was supposed to speak for 30 minutes. I spoke so fast, I did 18 minutes, right? And then I did the weekly Saturday calls. I spoke the weekly Saturday. And then my downline saw that everyone knew me.
Yes.
I did, okay. I'm not that bad. I remember I shared that last night. Last night seemed like a week ago. But there's a lot of content, stuff things. So it's about giving. Every time you give, people start coming back. Everything that's good thing that's happened is like giving freely. Actually, if you want to talk about online marketing, it's about giving your content for free. Giving, and only a small percentage will buy. And it's about following up. Okay, people most of the time, you know about social media follow? Like, most of you, some of you follow me social media? Follow, right? You probably followed me for quite some time before you decided to go to my training. Or maybe some of you purchased my product, right? So that's how online marketing works. Give. Maybe you get one sale. Most people think, I don't have any sale, it doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. It's repetition, you have to keep giving. You have to create lots of content, things that help people, not salesy. And then that's how you build trust. That consistent. But online, if you talk about social media, it's about consistency. If you do it once in a while, there's no consistency. If you have consistent content coming out, then people build trust. Okay. Okay? But that's a long answer to your Robert Allen thing. I learned a lot from that. If it wasn't for Robert Allen, who knows? I'd be still stuck in that mindset. So all news is good news. Okay, talked about this. Everything that happens was good. So the key is, most people, when something bad happens to them, they think for like 2 days, weeks, months, or lifetime. Successful people, they're able to like move on real quick. Like people that go bankrupt. Donald Trump, oh, bankrupt, okay, whatever, we'll start new. They're able to mentally put it in like a little compartment and move on from it. Emotionally let go of it. Because really the only thing that holds you back is you. If you, okay, just say I invested money to do a marketing thing and it didn't work out, you move on. You can't think, oh, it didn't work out, I lost money, I can't believe I lost all this money, how can I get back? You move on. I got lucky in the Philippines, I found Ed Miguel. He's doing that one extra meeting. So the one extra meeting, it was really, I did like Facebook advertising, and I did a lot of other types of advertising that didn't work. I got a lot of people that didn't work. I did late night meetings at 3 a.m. that didn't work, but all it takes is one person, and I got lucky. So those people like, probably know them, Mel, Caleb, Billy, De La Fuente, Nathaniel, Sunil, Ricardo, they're all in my downline. But I got lucky. But there's many times, most people, when they do something, idea, or your idea that we talked about, right? They do one thing and it didn't work, they stop. They do 2 or 3 things. One of the things, if you do 10 things, 7 will lose money, but will not be profitable. 2 will break even, but 1 will work out really well. But most people, they do 1 or 2, they stop, right? Because they think all news is good news. They stop. I could have just quit the business. Robert Allen screwed me with an apartment. I mean, paying $1,400 a month, but we just sucked it up. Actually, that motivated us to find different ways to make money to pay for that rent. And that introduced me. That was like around the same time. That was in 11. That was actually a really tough time. Robert Allen. Again, I really appreciate it. Right? I still maintain a relationship with him. I'm friends with his son, but he, how it started was in 2010. He went to Malaysia convention, and I wasn't there, but my team was there, Malaysian team. They had shirts and stuff. He was very impressed with it. So in January, later on, 2 weeks later, the Philippine celebration, he and his son approached me and say they're interested to work with me. I'm like, okay, whatever, okay. And they wanted to meet me right away. So I guess I have posture, but I said I can't reach you because I got to go to Dagupan. It was actually up north. I had a team training set up for this team. So he thought it was weird because no one turns down Robert Allen for a meeting. But I turned them down. I said, I really cannot go, right? And actually, I think that wasn't the typhoon. That was another time. So I went up there. I turned them down. So we didn't meet in Philippines. So it's kind of like, how come Simon turned me down? Richard turned me down. So I guess no one turns him down. But I really was loyal to my team first. I said I was committed to be there. So anyway, long story short, he was doing some courses in Asia. He wanted to work. And he was looking at his downtime to run this USANA business. So he was looking for someone to work with in his downline. So he found that I was in his downline and wanted to work with me. And we had a deal where he would put re-entries under me. I could market using his name, create Robert Allen website, flyers, drive people to seminars, and he would do the presentation and close them. So that's why. So it started out with like 2 re-entries in my Malaysian life. And then what happened was, I really wanted him to build in LA. Because I don't want to keep going out. Because that's when I had my son. So I don't want to travel back to Malaysia. So my whole goal was like, he lives in San Diego, let's build in Southern California. We talked about it, but we had to build trust. It took like 9-10 months later. We met at a convention again and talked about it. So he finally said, okay, let's do it. So I'm friends with his son, Aaron. So he put 4 re-entries, all under my re-entries in LA, and we started building. And so one of the things was he believed in the traditional networking where you have to do home meetings, duplicatable. But my wife doesn't want strangers in there. I don't want strangers. Just personally, I don't like strangers in my house. So we got an apartment. Especially these are leads we did Robert Allen marketing. So these are strangers. It could be crazy psychos, right? But he wanted an apartment. So, okay, so we rented an apartment right by our house, which is very lucky we found it. And then someone needed to live there. So Scott, my business partner, actually was, that time we just joined together. He was from Texas. He moved to LA to live there. So he had a 1-bedroom in his house, 1 bedroom in the living room, basically all chairs for meetings. So that was basically how it started. And then I remember like, my wife was pregnant with our son. He wanted to, let's do, what do you call that? Diamond U. They used to have a thing called Diamond U. Diamond University, right? Diamond U. So do Diamond U. I was like, I don't know what Diamond U is. It's basically a structured format that USANA doesn't have anymore. But it's like, you have to follow certain, Jeremy Stanford. Specific, you got to follow all these rules, how high, in order that, you know, that could be very professional looking. So, first of all, I hate doing events, okay? And I have no idea about Diamond U, stanchion, platform, stage. I have no idea about that type of stuff, but they want me to do it. So, if you want to do it in late June, I think late June is a very bad time, because my wife is giving birth on June, the first week of June. Late June is also when kids go to school. Kids are off holiday in the US, so they go on vacation. So who the heck is going to go to Diamond U for $120, $150? Which is also my limiting mindset. To me, at that time, $150 was a lot of money, $200. So he said, well, I said, you know, we shouldn't do it, right? So we did all this marketing stuff. He actually would say, you know, join Simon, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I went on the baby moon. You know, baby moon, the vacation before you have a baby? We went on a baby moon. And he said, well, after the baby moon, call me, and then we'll decide whether to do it or not. Maybe we shouldn't do it, okay? But if Robert Allen tells you to do something, I'm not going to say no. So I said, Bob, let's consider it. So after the baby moon, I'm like really nervous. Say, are we going to do it? So Simon, I just thought about it. Yeah, we should go ahead and do it. And that was 8 weeks ahead, 8 weeks. Look, I have 8 weeks to promote it. I've never done events. I don't even know what to do. I start printing out flyers, create a flyer. The flyer doesn't even look good. The ink bleeds. I went to a professional person, but the sizing was wrong. So I went to like a super Saturday thing. Not Super Saturday, it was like a Super Thursday, big event in Southern California. And I went to the leader and said, hey, I'm working with Robert Allen, giving out. First of all, the leaders didn't even know I was working with Robert Allen because Robert Allen wanted to keep it quiet because he didn't want people to say, but one of the challenges he had was all the leaders invite him and he speak for everyone, and then none of them join his downline, he doesn't make any money. So when he was working with me, he didn't want other people to know. So I go out to, yeah, I'm actually working with Robert Allen, we're doing this Diamond U, come out here in June, I still remember the day, it was like June 27th, come out here, and they're like, oh, what, you working with Robert Allen? So that took the whole explaining. So I gave out the flyers, oh, we'll be there, Simon, how'd you promote it, right? After I gave out the flyers, did the whole explaining, I've been working with Robert Allen, we're gonna have this big Diamond U. The next week, he leaves the company, okay? So think about my reputation, credibility. I was actually like a fool. I actually told people I was working for, they didn't know. I was telling them I was working with Robert Allen, and now Robert Allen leaves the company. Next question I get, Simon, are you leaving USANA with Robert Allen? Then I got to deal with that mess, okay? So we actually thought about I went to corporate. Corporate was very supportive. I went there, thinking of canceling the event. Turned out that we didn't cancel it. We totally changed the whole new format. Actually, I don't want to take credit for it. We did roundtables. A lot of the format they use in the U.S. now for the trainings actually came from that format. I think who came up with the idea for the format was Mike. I think Mike and I came up with the idea. So what happened was we wanted to cancel it, but a group from Oregon and Vegas, they actually prepaid tickets. So we couldn't we want to refund them, and they said, we don't want a refund. We cancel our family plans just to come down. We want something. Do something, Simon, speak. I was like, now I'm thinking about the hotel. It's like $12,000 I'm spending on hotel and all that. Anyway, the corporate came in. They ended up paying for the hotel. We changed it from a stage to a round table. It worked out awesome. It was basically one diamond per table. And then the USANA family really came to support us. Like the Kirks came out. The Lawson came out, not to support, but he motivated us. Callejas came. So a couple of us diamonds. Who else was there? It was Callejas, the Kirks, Port Dewitt came out from Canada. They came out. So it turned out to be really good bonding. And I had never really known the Kirks well. I had never known Dewicks well. It ended up being like kind of like a small group, like 100 people, kind of like the boot camp, where we all got together and really bonded. And this is like during a tough time in USANA when everyone left, So that actually, turned out to be a huge blessing for me. It was great news because I got relationships with the Kirks. I worked closely with corporate, and then we ended up creating this new format that worked. But it was a very stressful time at that time. My baby was like 2 weeks old, But so all news is good news. Okay, and I wouldn't be here today waiting for that. Or more importantly, like the mental toughness. Like knowing that that was a really tough time. I just explained to all the leaders, I'm working with Robert Allen, and next week he leaves. And then people were skeptical. Then some people were thinking that I said that to build a relationship so I could go with Robert Allen and take this downline with Robert Allen to another team. A lot of explaining to do. But it was a good thing I read. It was like, I shared yesterday, you gotta bleed in order to know how you heal. You gotta bleed in order to know how you heal. Now, if you've never bled before, you don't know how you heal.
Do you know all the sign-ups from that one?
From which one?
One that you didn't know.
Oh, the Diamond U thing was just a training. Was a training, yeah. From the Robert Allen home meetings, yeah, we got a lot of signups. We got a lot of good signups. You know, but once it ended, Google also doesn't let you do home business opportunity marketing anymore. They don't let you do that. Okay, the reason why Google doesn't let you market MLM is because most of Google advertising revenue comes from big companies. Big companies, not from small companies. So from GM, I think Apple spends $1 million a day on advertising on Google. Okay, that's Apple's worth billions of dollars. So $1 million is like a drop in the bucket, right? So that's where they get the money from. But what happens is when you have all these scams come popping up, if we see all that stuff, do we use Google? No, if we don't use Google, Google can't charge Apple that much money anymore. So they just rather get rid of all these small business owners that cause trouble. And then the big thing was some companies, small business owners, were selling fake drugs. This was back like 2010, and the U.S. Justice Department came down and made Google pay a $500 million fine. So because it was like, these are all like fake companies selling fake drugs, and people were buying them on Google. And whatever reason why Google was taking it, ever since then Google is very strict. So anyone who's like a small business or drugs, pharmacy, weight loss, automatically we don't approve your ad. You can't advertise. Okay, so that's because we don't want the money, because we don't want to ruin it. Our money comes from the big companies. By the way, if you ever try to cheat Google by creating another account name with another email address, don't worry about it. They know you. Google knows everything. I've done that mistake. Okay, it's not good because you get banned by Google, and then you can't advertise forever. It's not good. Because they know, because you know your computer address. So even if I use my computer in Brisbane, they know it's me. Because every computer has a MAC address. Because you have ID. Every time you log into any Gmail, anything, they know where you are. They can match your credit card. So the only way to open another account is using a different company name, with a different credit card, with a different address, using a different computer. Okay? If you use that computer accidentally, you're running similar website, but accidentally go home and log into your Wi-Fi, it's the same IP, Google knows you're the same person, you get banned. Because they know you. Okay? Same thing with Facebook. So if you like Facebook, don't do something, try to be sneaky, try to Facebook. Facebook knows everything. They know your friends. I mean, Facebook can recognize your faces, right? Right? So they know who your friends are. They know everything. You know the book, it was funny, like, you know the book by Orson Welles, George Orwell, 1984? Basically, we're volunteering, you know, letting Big Brother watch us. Every time you put Facebook, you're telling people to watch us. This is what we're doing. You know, they know where I am right now because I'm on my iPhone.
Even the phone, on my phone, when I want to tag, automatically comes up with the names from one photo.
Because they can recognize you.
They recognize.
They know who your friends are. They know everything. There's a whole conspiracy theory about the American government and NSA and things like that.
Google Earth, you have your place.
Yeah, I mean, that's Google Earth. They can look at your place, right? That's only available to us. Think about like the U.S. military, right, what they can do. This is just what we have. They can probably, you know, so you can see through the window here and see what I'm doing. I mean, they have drones now. They can, right? They're talking about Amazon. Amazon's going to use drones to deliver products. And that's the big news. Amazon's actually going to use drones in the next 10 years and deliver your products. They'll fly in the air and drop in your house. Drones like a fake plane. Drones, fake plane. Like, you know how they basically the U.S. right now when they fight in the Middle East, they don't use soldiers. They use planes, remote controlled planes. That controls and just drop bombs and kills. So they would use drones, commercial drones, to deliver packages.
And then they lost a plane.
But I mean, Amazon can figure out drones and get them to deliver packages, and Malaysia came and find a plane. Oh yeah, we have a break. So the last thing I want to think about, all your turning points of your life is because, we're going to take a break in 2 minutes. All your turning points of your life is because of bad times. Something bad happened. Something bad happened, tough time, like I shared the Robert Allen thing, right? One of the things I learned in the business was also when Never, if you go to the new market, never pay someone else to join your business. So they be, especially you Australians, they'll target you. Oh, I'm a leader, I'm blah, blah, blah. I can bring 50 dollars, I can bring 1,000 dollars over. Never, ever pay money. Okay? I've actually paid money. It never works out. You know, Steve Jobs, if he didn't get fired by Apple, where would Apple be today? Right? So the key is to get reset. Learn to reset. It's like a reset button. You restart, reboot your button, and start again. Anytime anything bad happens, shake it off, get rid of it emotionally, and start again. So I end with this. It's like seek the swift sword. If you're going to die, it's like the video. Die quickly and restart again. Okay? Things are not going well, let it go and restart. And everything that's bad, mentally put it away and start up. But your past, yesterday is mystery. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. So learn to let go of the past. Your past is your future. Has nothing to do with your past. Your past has nothing to do with your future. You could be the biggest bum, but now you could be very successful. It was all up here. Okay, so you got to work. We went through the 10 programmings. You know, I would like for you to go back, think about what you need to work on, and just be conscious of these things. Maybe grab an accountability partner. You know, the language you talk, the things you talk about, but be focused, okay, on wealth attracting things. Good day? Yes. Right? What are some things you learned? What's the good things?
I like the idea of seeking the people straight up, you know, they're positive.
Yeah, people filter.
Abundance. That's what I like.
And you can trust them.
Yeah.
Trust is another. If you can't trust someone, then why work with them? Right? And how you do anything is how you do everything. So there's no exceptions. If someone cheats once, if someone talks behind someone's back, tomorrow they could be talking behind your back.
Yeah.
Right? You look at, they don't criticize and complain. They never say bad about people. If they say bad about someone else, tomorrow they say bad about you. Oh, gratitude is another one. They got to be grateful. If you're not grateful, if they're not grateful, they're not abundance minded. Right? They're focusing on problems. Also, if they're not grateful, they're probably not going to be grateful for what you do to them later on. You help them, they're not going to be grateful.